Hello, welcome in everybody. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Tarot, and we're going to do the weekend check-in for the collective. So I feel we are at this major pivot point where we have an opportunity for a fresh start. For those that have broken down all of these old belief structures on the awakening journey, we are in a very intense period of growth, acceleration, accelerated ascension, accelerated learning, higher learning, especially with Jupiter entering into Gemini this weekend. And so we have an opportunity to reconcile the past. That does not mean having to get back together with anybody, but reconciliation between the head and the heart, especially when it comes to love, relationships, the past, the present, and the future, because nothing actually is separate. And so right now we are closing out very challenging karmic relationship cycles. If you think about 90% of the relationships on earth, there's some kind of karma there at play. And so we are in this portal of being asked to embrace changes. And in order to embrace changes, we do have to go through very challenging life lessons. We have an opportunity right now to completely close the book on the past. And so there might be one last look back, but we do need to remember endings do not have to be negative. Endings do lead to new beginnings, and we can't walk through the doorway of something new without completely making peace of the past. And so right now we're in a portal of endings, and endings are necessary for growth and evolution, and endings are necessary for change. And so I thought I would change things up a little bit for the weekend check-in. And so last night I actually worked in town locally at Mrs. Bell's Tea Room, and I was inspired by all of those readings last night to use my self-care deck, because these energies are intense. A lot of people need to learn to drop back into the heart, right? We can't overthink the journey. The spiritual journey isn't logical. And so we broke it down into 3 piles. And so we're going to get a reflection message today. We're also going to get an inspirational message when it comes to these very intense energies. And we're going to also get an affirmation message. And so we are going to dig further into each of these messages with the tarot, and we are going to see what needs to come through for the collective. So you might resonate with the entire message. You might just resonate with one portion. So you pick a pile, you pick 2 piles, you pick 3 piles, you pick whatever resonates the most. But we're going to start off with what is needing to be reflected upon this weekend. What do you need to reflect upon in order to face any challenging energies, any truth coming forward? What is the reflection message for the collective? Be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Self-growth is a tender process. So we get a reflection card. Okay. How you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. So we are always a work in progress, right? We are always evolving. We are always growing. We are always a work in progress. And so what would your life look like if you treated yourself like you saw external love and appreciation out there in the world? And so energy is always moving through us at all points of the day. And so just remember, the manner you treat yourself the most is going to be a reflection of how you teach others how to love you. And so I think there's a lesson in realizing that there is no greater investment than investing in the journey of self-growth, self-discovery, self-study. Probably one of the best things I ever did was study myself, study my birth chart, understand all of the karmic connections. And I'm stronger today than I was yesterday, and I'm stronger today than I was 2 years ago. And so I think appreciate the journey as a whole. And so how do you love yourself? How do you love yourself? Let's go a little bit further with this message. And we're going to use the Tarot of Dreams deck today. So we get the 3 of Wands and we get the 9 of Cups. This is how do you love yourself, right? Are you waiting for somebody to bring you wish fulfillment, or are you embodying what it is that you are seeking? And so there's a lot of expansion, I feel, when it comes to understanding what wish fulfillment means and the steps that we need to take to actually create that in our reality. So I think we're going to do 9 cards, and we're going to elaborate on how you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. So there might be a situation here that needs to be addressed in regards to how you love yourself or how somebody is treating you. So let's do 9 cards. And let's see what needs to come through for pile number 1. We get the Palace of Swords, and so there's some type of truth that is being exposed. We get the Knight of Wands, and we get the Fool. So this is about taking a leap of faith, maybe to leave a past pattern behind. Maybe the way you used to love yourself was going out and having a good time, and maybe that called in a lot of unrequited love situations. Maybe it called in a lot of passion, but people that were maybe non-committal, and maybe healing a pattern on how you love yourself, how you teach people how to love you. And so that's likely going to bring in an unexpected choice in love. We get the Lovers, Gemini energy, and we are in all of this Gemini energy. Oh, and I feel you got something here that is coming in strong, passionate, masculine. And so an Emperor, this is somebody that knows how to take charge, somebody that is aligned in their truth. We could have a past life soulmate coming in if you picked pile number 1. We get the Hermit, and so this could have been a long time coming. Maybe you have been spending a lot of time alone, learning how to love yourself, learning to heal from a pattern. I do think you came into some type of knowledge, and maybe this brought in like a Tower moment with the Fool. This could be coming in this weekend, but I feel this is what's coming. We've got some type of reunion here, reconciliation for pile number 1. And I think you've thought long and hard about this. And so I think healing a pattern of self-betrayal, self-sabotaging behaviors, and recognizing the role you needed to play on your healing journey in order to call in a high vibration soulmate. So you could be dealing with an Aries. You could be an Aries. We got strong Aries energy here. We get Aquarius energy and Scorpio. And so I think you've done a lot of shadow work preparing for a new beginning. And I think that's a yes. And so maybe this recent full moon has unexpectedly brought in somebody from the past. If you picked pile number 1, because you've mastered self-love and you've called in somebody that is going to honor and respect you. There's a new beginning in love here. This could even be the return of a past life soulmate leading to some type of twin soul union if you picked pile number 1. And so strong Aries energy. We could have a Venus in Aries. Doesn't have to be. We also have the Uranus energy. So this is like a relationship that's going to shift your very foundational belief about love. And I do think this is somebody that will appreciate you. And so I think get ready to maybe do one last deep dive when it comes to recognizing self-sabotaging behaviors if you picked pile number 1. All right, so if you picked pile number 2 and you're looking for some inspiration this weekend, give me 1 second and we'll get right at it. Pile number 2, we're going to see what message needs to come through if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration in these very intense full moon energies. So we're going to get into it and we're going to see what kind of message needs to come through if you pick pile number 2, inspiration. Somebody needs some inspiration. I heard, I can't get no satisfaction. Okay, take some time off. I do think sometimes we need to take a break. Things aren't going to fall apart without you. Maybe you run a business. Maybe you need to take a step back. Maybe you need to just dedicate a whole day to self-care. Sometimes we need a break and we need to go within and we need dead silence and we need to disconnect to receive new creative ideas. And so when we're bored, when we're disconnected, when we take time off, that's usually when new inspiration kind of comes to us. And so you got to take care of that channel of energy, right? And so we channel energy in, we channel energy out. And when we are channeling energy out and we're not receiving anything coming in, we need to keep that balance. And so maybe you need to fill your own cup this weekend. Maybe you need to allow every moment of this weekend to be woven with this divine energy of taking a step back, being guided. But sometimes we need to remember spiritual progress sometimes is being led to take a break and take a step back. And sometimes that's the fastest way we can jump ahead and jump timelines is to take a step back. And so we got to trust that there's an ebbing and a flowing of the journey. We got to trust in the power and the energy being channeled through us. And if your energy is saying, hey, I need a break, I need to dedicate the weekend to time off, in order to move through life, to find a newfound confidence, then do that. So there is a need to strive for some type of balance here, I feel. Maybe a need to just get out in nature and just listen quietly, listen intently, and allow the energy of the earth to rejuvenate you this weekend. But I'm curious to see what else needs to come through for the tarot with this with this message, with this energy. So I think we're going to jump in with the Angel Power Tarot card. So there's victory here, but you need to take a break. And so I think you've done a good job here. I think it's time like to move to the next level, the next project. So there's like a pause or a void before you get on to something new. So I do think like plans are being woven. And I think this is challenging for you to take some time off. So withdraw and leave the drama behind. You are allowed to relax. You are allowed to refresh. You are allowed to take time off. So let's do 9 cards if you picked pile number 2. And let's see what this inspirational message is asking you to strive towards when it comes to balancing these energies. I did notice 1111. And so 7 of Pentacles in reversed. That ring light is really glaring. 10 of Swords in reversed. The 4 of Swords in reverse. So I just want to say the worst has already happened. And so sometimes we invest in situations and they don't work out the way that we planned. And sometimes we go into situations thinking this is going to be a life partnership and it isn't. And sometimes it can be a very painful ending. It doesn't always have to be a painful ending like we talked about in the channeling. And so there might be a new opportunity to follow a path for happiness and to leave the past behind, put the past behind. So somebody might be closing out a 7-year cycle. And so this might be a long time coming in order to make peace and take a bow and completely create that closure to come out, maybe even of a 4-year period of healing. And we do gain insights by taking that time off. And so maybe somebody here I feel has taken time off from relationships in general for the last 4 years. Yeah, I feel very disconnected, doing a deep dive inside, learning to trust themselves before embracing a new beginning in love. So we get the King of Cups reversed, the Page of Cups. So I do feel, yeah, somebody I feel might be closing out a major 7-year cycle. And so really not looking for love, not looking for a relationship, not looking for anything solid or a life partner here. King of Cups reverse is like, hey, it's not really safe to open up to a relationship just yet. I'm not ready for that. I got some other things to consider. I got some other things to accomplish before thinking about an open-hearted experience. And so I think the general energy this weekend, though, is saying there's a masculine here, or you could be embodying this energy that's done a lot of healing work, that is ready to open up to a new emotional situation after healing, maybe from an ending in the past, right? The 5 of Pentacles could be, hey, somebody had to rebuild after, you know, going 50-50 in a divorce, and they needed time to rebuild, and they needed to go through some current challenges alone before being ready to open up to a new relationship. And so there might be like a new message coming in regarding a relationship this weekend if you picked pile number 2. And this could be like a divinely guided message. I feel like this could be a new, gentle, loving, open-hearted experience. But there is also a need to let go of any negative thoughts when it comes to a past relationship where maybe things didn't work out, because you don't want to self-sabotage and create another self-fulfilling prophecy. And so we get the 2 of Wands reversed. So this is kind of feeling like something showing up out of nowhere. A relationship showing up out of nowhere. And maybe an opportunity to do like a refresher, like a refresher of a lesson when it comes to maybe codependency issues or fear of giving up your independence. So we could have like a single person here second guessing wanting a relationship. But I think relationships with other people, one-on-one relationships, whether they end good or bad, are one of the most beautiful things on the planet of Earth, right? To be willing, to be open to love again. It's a beautiful experience. And so you got to be willing, though, to be open again. You got to be willing to say, hey, this isn't going to be a repetition of a past pattern. I've done the work. I've done this emotional exploration. I've withheld offering my love to somebody knowing that I wasn't quite ready. And so I think this is like a really good invitation or offer coming in. I think this could be a new passionate opportunity, but you might have to push some fears aside. I think somebody here has an opportunity to do something really amazing this weekend. But you got to release the past. You got to release the past mindset. I think about a cycle, a completing cycle when it comes to an old belief, maybe a 10-year cycle. And so you can be free. You can move on to a beautiful new emotional experience, but you got to get out of this stuck energy. So I think somebody's taken a lot of time off, and it's time to get unstuck. So the 4. So I think, yeah, like almost like a 4-year period of enlightenment and unloading a burden when it comes to a past relationship ending. So I think there's a man here that has been closed off in the heart. Doesn't have to be. And I see this beautiful Queen of Wands coming through that is sparking some new passion here, some new inspiration for somebody to follow some passion here. But I think it's challenging because I think there might be fear when it comes to this new adventure. And so we get choices in life, right? We can be brave. We can be playful. We can be optimistic. And that's the energy of Sagittarius. That's what this full moon is saying. Be brave. Be optimistic. Embrace that inner child feeling, because there's a Queen of Wands here that is very independent, charming. I think we could have a creator here. She goes after what she wants. Nothing stops this queen from going after what she wants. And I think somebody here has attracted this into their experience because this is a gift. So don't squander a gift from the universe. So that's kind of what I got if you picked pile number 3. So if you picked pile number 2. So if you picked pile number 3, hang on, and we're going to be right back. All right, guys, if you picked pile number 3, we are going to get an affirmation message. So pile number 3, what do we need to know? What do we need to affirm this weekend? What do we need to affirm so we can move forward, so we can have confidence to move forward? What do we got to affirm? Pile number 3. What do we got to affirm? Oh, they're not wanting to talk, pile number 3. Is there a ghosting situation? There might be. There's silence. Silence is deafening. Okay, self-respect. Tracks our choices. Listen to your intuition. That's why I felt the silence. So you are being asked to be your own guide this weekend. Self-care is not selfish. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. So I think it's time to disconnect. If you pick pile number 3, maybe you got a lot of people coming to you asking for help. Maybe you are in the public eye. Maybe you have been pouring from an empty cup. And, you know, we got to allow others to have the chance to figure things out on their own so they can succeed on their own. And so I think listen to your intuition here on this one. I do think self-care is what is needed, and it's not selfish. So affirm to yourself that you are your best own guide this weekend. So I think it's really time to act in harmony with what your authentic self and your authentic heart is asking you what to do, because I think you're earning a lot of affluency if you picked pile number 3. And we earn respect when we respect our own values and boundaries. And so it's pretty simple, right? Every single choice we make matters. Every single choice we make will create cause and effect. And so what choices are you making to better your life when it comes to your service mission? Because self-love is a must. When you have a big heart and when you live out of this vessel of this heart center, you have to make sure you fill it. You have to make sure that that heart is filled. And so we can't allow others' drama to spill over into our lives without filling our own cup first. And so you have to come first. So you are worthy of all good things in life, but you have to trust your intuition. So we're going to go further. We're going to see what this message is actually affirming, because every choice matters. You might have a big decision to make here this weekend if you picked pile number 3. And it might have to do with a new soul contract. I feel this is like divinely guided. It's like a part of an awakening of some sort. The renewal, the judgment can be an awakening. There's a major renewal of the past going on here. And so you can't really completely move forward until you look back on the past and you understand the lessons that the past were meant to teach you. And so somebody could also be coming into recognition for the work that they do, the high quality work that they put out there. So you could be in the public eye when it comes to a service mission. There could be a new endeavor coming in. There could be a renewal with somebody, but I think clarity is coming. And so I just feel like you might feel like you're being tracked. That's interesting. But I think you're earning a lot of respect. So we're going to do 9 cards. If you pick pile number 3, let's see what needs to come through for you. But I think ask for help when you need it too. That's also about earning self-respect, knowing when you've reached your limit, knowing when you need to ask for help, because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And so there's a need to recognize things that aren't balanced. And so this is all about self-control, mastering self-diversity, being patient with yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup, and so you need to have a compromise. As you rise to success, you also need to take a step back too. And so I think you already know this. This is also a very strong message of stop listening to other people's advice. Stop listening to other people. Listen to your own intuition, because the wisdom you receive intuitively is always your most trustworthy advice. And there is a fine line between intuition and fear. And so nothing is squandered. Nothing is ever lost. And so this could be an unexpected, I heard, a releasing of funds. So I don't know if you've got like funds on hold or in like a trust fund. There could be a releasing of funds. I think that might be a very specific message for somebody. This could mean the selling of a home. This could mean there's a need to really go within and listen to some wise counsel, I think is a big message. Oh, we got victory. There could be a windfall here. This could be like an unexpected windfall being releasing the funds. Very interesting. So there is a need to stay balanced. There is a need to stay balanced, okay? Victory. And so public recognition. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I do feel I'm talking to a psychic here, or somebody that is very psychically gifted, that has given a lot, that has shared a lot of deep psychic insights with the collective. And so don't forget to care for yourself. This Queen of Cups is like, hey, you need to cover that cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So fill that cup. Maybe take a step back. I think the angels are saying take a step back. Take a break from tarot. Take a break from tarot and look at this victory. Like sitting in it. Looking right at it. And so pay attention to red flags too. Pay attention to the red flags, I feel. And so do not let anybody bring their drama into your life, because it will take you down. Okay? With the sun reversed, we get the moon reversed. And so I feel pile number 3, you might be feeling like you have a full moon hangover this weekend, because I think there was like a significant revelation that came forward that is showing you what needs to be changed when it comes to work. And so I'm feeling work. And so I think you work hard, you put a lot of work into maybe a career or a business, and it's time to stop overgiving. Maybe it's time to reevaluate your prices. Maybe it's time to reevaluate your generosity. And so you can't keep giving if nothing's being returned back to you. And so I feel a recognition of maybe where you've not been appreciated, where people have had lack of gratitude for the intuitive insights that you brought forward. That's interesting. I actually was reading like all of these comments on a thread on a post in a spiritual group this morning about how people shouldn't charge for their gifts. And so we do live in a 3D reality. We do live in a world of exchange being in the amount of finances. And so do I believe that there's a lot of scammers out there? Absolutely. But there is a thing called equal exchange. And so you can't give without receiving back. And so a lot of people, I feel, also undervalue their gifts for fear of charging for their gifts. And so I think there's a lesson in overgiving coming through if you picked pile number 3. So I think you're here to affirm like every choice matters. And so you earn respect by respecting yourself. And so when we give and we don't receive, there's a wound there, or a lack of respect. And so maybe it's time to go back to school. I think maybe you're learning more skills. And so let's clarify this Queen of Cups, because I feel this full moon is bringing in a revelation this weekend, if you picked pile 3, about where you've not been listening to your intuition. So let's clarify this Queen of Cups. So we definitely got an intuitive here. So trust in your own psychic insights, okay? Because I do think Spirit has been warning you. You could have somebody here trying to create delays, but I just feel like you need to pause. You need to take a step back. And you also need to recognize where you delay this money or this fortune to be made manifest by overgiving. So I think you're coming into a sudden revelation that's going to allow you to unexpectedly progress. Yeah, stop overgiving. Stop overgiving. And so I think you're cutting people out left, right, and center. Yeah, you are leveling up. So I think you are receiving a lot of insights if you picked pile number 3. And I do think you love what you do. And so you are career driven, you are career focused, and you are cutting out anybody that is not investing back into you, because this is definitely a delay when it comes to abundance. So I think you're learning to stand up for yourself. You're learning to instill boundaries. You're stepping into your worth and your value. And so your bank account is always, always, always going to be a reflection of your self-worth and your self-value. And so I do think maybe you're thinking about becoming a mentor or expanding your mentorship abilities, but you're going through a major, major transformation. Major transformation. And I think it's a belief system surrounding money or a lack thereof. And so I do think it's time to really embrace a new creative endeavor. I think you've learned a lot of life lessons, and it's really time to allow your creativity to soar. And that's kind of what I got if you picked pile number 3. So let me know what you think about this pick a card reading down below in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys thought about this. I'm trying to just step outside the box and do some things that are a little bit different that can accommodate to multiple groups of people. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, I do encourage you to check that description box below, and also feel free to check out the membership side of the channel. Over on the membership side, I do go live every Thursday, and it's a really fun place to grow and learn. We do all kinds of fun things over there. And do keep in mind, I do birthday bonus messages over there for each zodiac sign. And so Gemini will be posted next. So if you are a Gemini, you might want to go over to the membership side. But thank you for tuning in today, and I do look forward to seeing you all again next time.